Welcome to the Windy City Rundown. Welcome back to another great episode of the Windy City Rundown. That is Jose Contreras. I am Eric Ireland, and boy, do we have a show for you today. As always, first things first, follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, all the good social media platforms. On YouTube, make sure you guys like and subscribe on our YouTube page, and on your Facebook page, always like and share our episodes for your friends and family. And always, you can join us on the comment section too, as well as the world's best barber in the world, Luis Aguilar. Right there. What's up, my boy? My boy Magic on there, hit you up for your appointment, man. That's the best barber out there in the world, in Whiting. But also, the link is in the comment too, as well, if you guys want to join us and talk to us about whatever we are talking about on today's episode. And today's episode, Jose, it is a doozy. What's up, man? How are you today?
What up, Eric? No, man, big episode today. We're definitely going to cover everything that happened last week because it was a big week. Started from DJ Moore being traded to basically we haven't talked in a while. We haven't talked since DJ Moore got traded. That's great.
And that, yeah. So
yeah, a lot has happened. A lot of signings, a lot of trades that went through, then fell through. It's definitely an interesting show.
110%. And we have up in the comment section too today. CP, what's up, my boys? What up, CP? Thank you guys for joining us, man. You're absolutely right, Jose. Let's start it off with that. We keep it locally, but today will probably be one of the very few episodes where we go around the whole National Football League. And Jose started off. The Bears traded away DJ Moore for the Buffalo Bills. It was DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick. And the Bears actually got a 2nd-round pick of this year's draft, which was a great signing for a great move by the Chicago Bears. Making that move, creating the cap space that the Bears needed to make for this offseason. But we never would have thought that DJ Moore would have gone for a 2nd-round pick. Obviously, you sacrifice a 5th-round pick and DJ Moore to get that 2nd-round pick, but that is just a win-win situation for the Chicago Bears and this upcoming draft, along with the salary cap move that they need to make. Jose, I know you had mixed feelings about this as soon as we get later on to this, but the move was a good move by the Chicago Bears getting a 2nd-round pick for Moore.
It was a good move getting a 2nd-round pick. If they were ready to move on from Moore, that probably would have been the best case scenario, getting a 2nd-round pick. We did have to give up a 5th for the 2nd-round pick, so it wasn't just Moore valued as 2nd-round pick. It was Moore plus a 5th, which I get it. But now it's Bull's turn to kind of turn that into something that we're going to need, especially defensively, Eric, because we'll get into it in a little bit, but just sticking with the DJ Moore trade, mixed emotions, right? Because of everything he was able to do for us last season. I mean, come on, he was a Packer killer. He was the reason why we defeated the Packers not once, but twice, once in the playoffs. So it was amazing what he was able to do for this team. Legendary. We were happy when we got him. It turned into something great. It's sad to see him go, but there is bigger fish to fry. We need so much more defensively. And it happened. It happened for a reason.
110%, dude. I for the greater cause, right? For the greater good. Not only you get, the 2nd-round pick, you can kind of say it was kind of like a very early 2nd-round, early 3rd-round pick, right? Because that pick is the 60th or 61st pick of the draft, right? That's already the tail end of the NFL 2nd-round draft. But regardless of the fact, still getting that pick, you get 2 picks in the 2nd round. That's an extra day 2 pick that you have in your bank for the Chicago Bears. And it was just a good move overall. I think nobody expected DJ Moore to go for or get a 2nd-round pick for DJ Moore on top of that part. I don't think nobody asked for it. I think if we were just thinking about it, we thought DJ Moore was going to be a trade piece for other players like Max Crosby. That didn't end up happening. But getting a 2nd-round pick, to getting that value for the Bears, to get the help that they really need, and obviously just looking forward into the future. I think that was just a very smart move from the Bears to get that going. But yeah, now that the moves have been set, right? Today is the new D-League year for the NFL. So all the trades that happened last week are now official. Everything that's been happening by on Monday when the legal tampering period happened is now official. So now every moves that we've been reading for the last 7 days are now official. Jose, the picks that the Bears are getting for this year's draft, one first, 2 seconds, a third, a fourth, and 2 sevenths, right? There's no 5th or 6th round pick simply because, and one of the other moves the Chicago Bears made, Jose, was trading for center. I had his name, I forgot. I didn't even put it down here. But they traded a center for the Chicago Bears. I'll get into it right now. Help me out, Jose. But they traded a center to
the center for the Patriots, Bradbury.
Yes. I'm trying to get his name. Gillett something. I apologize. I thought I put it down here on the list, but I didn't. But I'll get the name of it. But Jose, they traded a 5th round pick for the center.
That's the thing. Let's be honest. That's the thing. The reason why you don't remember it, we can't really. It's because, look, he's going to be a better center, hopefully, in this and with the Bears, with the guys around him, Jonah Jackson to his right, Tooney to his left, right. We still have Darnell right. We picked up another tackle today, so he'll be better, I think. With the Bears than he was with the Patriots. But the reason why you really can't remember his name, Eric, is because he wasn't the best option available. You had so many better centers that you could have picked up. I get it. A lot of them would have costed you way more money, but this was a position that the Bears weren't looking to were looking to grab going into this offseason, thinking Drew Dalman was still going to be here. He retired early. We needed to trade for a center. I trust Ryan Poles. I think there's a lot that has to do with us getting him is the fact that he was college roommates with Tooney, very well acclimated with Tooney. So hopefully it works out in that regard. But yeah, man, I don't think anybody blames you for not remembering his name when there's really nothing there that makes you excited about them picking him up.
You're absolutely right. Garrett Bradbury, there you go. Garrett Bradbury from the Patriots, the new center for the Chicago Bears, traded a 5th round pick for him last year. And you're absolutely right, Jose. I think you hit it on the nose. We weren't expecting Drew Dalman to retire, right? That wasn't in the cards for the Chicago Bears, which is why they made that move to get a center. You're absolutely right. There were better centers out there in the market. They were just going to cost so much money. They were top of the line centers. And a salary cap that the Bears didn't have, right? The money wasn't there for the Chicago Bears to go out and get these centers and cut their cap into like almost everything, to its whole entirety. But it was a move that was necessary for the Bears. It was a move that was unexpected for the Bears, but a move to where, hey, you know what? He's on the cheap end. We got him, like you said, roommate of Joe Tooney. There's some continuity there. We can make it work. We can make it happen. It wasn't the best center available, but also at the same time, it wasn't even the worst center available, right? So the Bears did what they needed to do to solidify that move, and they moved on it quickly. They had to give up a 5th round pick. But remember, Jose, the last time the Bears gave up a 5th round pick for an offensive lineman, it was Joe Tooney. So it is one of those moves that maybe it can happen again for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but Joe Tooney was also an all-pro tackle, really highly decorated, well-regarded, not to mention all the championships he had playing with the Chiefs, with the Patriots. Different, very different here. One of the Patriots who made it to the Super Bowl last season, one of their biggest flaws was the offensive line. So I'm curious to see how much of that had to do with Bradbury, but we'll figure out. We'll find. Like I said, I think he's going to be better automatically just being with this group of guys here. And I get credit to Poles. He has a game plan going into this offseason, going into this draft. We're seeing it, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll get into a lot of it in a little bit, but we're starting to see it. Drew Dalman retiring wasn't in the cards. So he had to do what he had to do getting him. So I respect that, right? DJ Moore's gone. You got a second. You could tell where he's going based off these signings that he had this week. There's really no pass rush help that he got. Spent a lot of money these last couple of seasons, and none of it was for a pass rush, which tells me going into this draft, that's what he's eyeing. He's going to look for the pass rushing through the draft. I think they really wanted Max Crosby.
Yeah.
The Ravens scooped him up. They made all these moves, spent all this money, and now that even though he's available, I think they've already well, there's really nothing else we could do. We spent all this money. We probably can't even get him anymore. Maybe they still are. Maybe they're working up a plan. Who knows? Regardless of the fact, from what it looks like, pass rushing is where we go through the draft, and let's not worry about the offensive line because they've already made some signings. So I think trading for Bradbury was unnecessary. It was necessary. Sorry, it was a necessity that we needed to do. At the same time, me selfishly, I do wish it was someone who at least showed better prospect in the past.
100%, Jose. And just to keep it going too, as well, the Bears did resign to Michael Jackson, linebacker. They also re-signed Braxton Jones on the offensive tackle line too, as well, simply because of the Ozzie Trapilla injury. So there's going to be competition there too. Yeah. The Bears also re-signed. I'm trying to get there too as well.
We signed Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks. The safety.
I'm talking about the re-signs right now first. The re-signs the players that are coming back for the Chicago Bears. Jones. It was Braxton Jones. It was DeMarco Jackson. There was one more, but we'll get into it. I'll find it a little later. Now, Jose, you're right. The Bears' new signings. If you see it right there on the tracker, right on top, we got it. First things first. Our boy JoJo here. Well, hello, fellas. What did I hear about Bradbury? Was a stat-wise is that he didn't allow to be beaten in the line for any sacks, so that's a good stat if you want to.
Yeah,
100%. He was probably one of the best offensive linemen that the Patriots had on a very depleted offensive line that the Patriots had this offseason. So, this past season, so you're absolutely right. Didn't give up anything, so good thing was on there too. But Jose is right. We did sign Kobe Bryant, safety from the Seattle Seahawks, Super Bowl winning champion. Linebacker Devin Bush from Cleveland, which had his career year this past season. The first signing of the offseason for the Bears was Neville Gallimore from Indianapolis. And then we also had our 1 and 2 year signings from Khalif Raymond, Kavarius Street from New Orleans, Cam Lewis from Buffalo was a 2 years, and offensive tackle Jedrick Willis Jr. from Cleveland too as well. Those are the new signings for the Chicago Bears. Obviously, the two big ones was Kobe Bryant and Devin Bush from Cleveland. They solidified the secondary and the linebacking core we have from having none linebackers to 2 linebackers resigning to Michael Jackson. But a lot of people have been saying that the Chicago Bears kind of upgraded on the safety position. They got younger with Kobe Bryant on that aspect, man. And we got a Super Bowl winning cornerback or safety in our team. Great move, great signing by the Chicago Bears.
It was a necessity for sure. I love it. I think that was the best move of the offseason. If let's be honest, let's call a spade. Kevin Byard had a better year last year, right? He led the league in interceptions.
Right.
He was great for us. At the same time, he was older, right? So we get younger with Bryant. Bryant's a ball hog. I think he could definitely be a star on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. If we're talking production-wise, Byard had a better year. So losing him, in my opinion, did hurt us a little bit. I can't sit here and say we got better in that position, losing Byard and gaining Bryant, but I'll call it a wash for now until Bryant comes in, steps in, and kind of gives us that production, because we'll be fooling ourselves if we said, losing Byard and coming in Bryant right now in the offseason is a better move. We have to see it. I'm not saying Bryant isn't going to be great. All I'm just saying is that we definitely lost something in losing Byard to the Patriots he only signed for 1 year over there. So us losing him to the Patriots does suck, because, like I said, a lot of those turnovers, interceptions were caused by him. So, definitely a big void. But I think Bryant definitely has the potential and the capability to, basically amend that gap.
100%. 26-year-old safety out of Cincinnati, 6'1". He had 39 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 4 interceptions this past offseason, along with the Super Bowl ring too as well. The Bears signed him for 3 years for $40 million. That's what, roughly you're talking about, 11, 10, like $12 million a season. So that was the sign for Kobe Bryant. The linebacker Devin Bush too as well was a new one, also a 3-year deal. His is $21 million guaranteed, $30 million was the deal for 3 years, 10 per season. Had a career last year in Cleveland. a Cleveland team where however you want to see it, right? Defensively, they were probably one of the better units out there. It's just unfortunate they didn't have the offense to help them out, to help out that defense. But yeah, last year, career year for him. 63 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 2 forced fumble, off ball linebacker. Mind you, Jose, is Devin Bush. We needed a position. Again, that's another good signings for the Chicago Bears.
It is. But when you look at if you're comparing them to what they're replacing, Tremaine Edmonds was also pretty good. He was a pretty good linebacker for us. At the same time, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, our defense was great. Our defense was ass last year, so we needed a change. So losing Edmonds, losing Byard, I get it 100%. No, everybody's expendable. Fill in the gaps to improve this defense. I think bringing in Brian, bringing in Bush is definitely going to help that. We just, I think what's missing for this defense right now, Eric, is that big splash or that well-known or that hot, you know what I mean? Like that well-known productive player that's going to come in and make a difference. We haven't seen that yet. I think Kobe Bryant definitely has that opportunity. I think Bush is definitely going to be a great player. At the end of the day, though, for me, it's wait and see. You know what I mean? Because every move, you see him up there on the screen right above me. Every move there seems cool, seems great, right? They're cost control, they're cap friendly, all that. But at the end of the day, did we get better? I think that should be the main question. Did we get better as a defensive unit? Did we get better as an offensive unit? Did we get better as an overall team? I can't, with certainty, looking at all these signings, tell you yes. I can't. We lost DJ Moore. If we're kidding ourselves if we think that's not going to have some kind of effect right away next year, right? We lost Kevin Byard, like I said, who led the league in interceptions. We'll be kidding ourselves if we sit here and think that that's not going to affect us in some type of way. I'm not saying that Kobe Bryant isn't able to do that. All I'm saying is that there has to be something, that kind of assures us that this is going to be a better year going forward. I trust Ben Johnson. I trust Ryan Poles. I trust Caleb Williams. I think the fact that we have Caleb and Ben Johnson working together, to me, it tells us we're going to be in it no matter what. At the end of the day, our defense has to get better. It has to get better. We signed good players, right? We signed really good players, but can they be difference makers? I think that right there, Eric, is the question.
That's the big question, I think, leading into the draft for this upcoming season. I mean, the Bears have 4 picks in the in the first 3 rounds, Jose. So that can help out, plus whatever moves that Poles can make to probably get us there too as well. Real quick, courtesy of Bears Wire, these are the players that resigned for the Bears. Braxton Jones, quarterback Case Keenum, which is an interesting topic of conversation that we'll get into right now. DeMarco Jackson, safety Elijah Hicks, and defensive end Daniel Harding all resigned with the Chicago Bears. The most important one, the most important one to me, Jose, is Case Keenum. He signed for 2 years, $8 million, Jose. 3 years, $8 million. Sorry, that was his new signing agreement with the Chicago Bears, which means what for your boy? What's his name?
Tyson Bagent.
Tyson Bagent. There you go, Tyson Bagent.
I like Tyson Bagent. I like him a lot. I think he's a good backup. I would rather have him as our secondary backup, but if he's more valuable as trade bait, trade him away. I mean, look at the Arizona Cardinals. They have 3 quarterbacks on their depth chart right now, and they were all backups last year. So, I mean, there's been interest from them that they want Tyson Bagent, trade him, and I think that might happen closer to the trade deadline, or not trade deadline, closer to the draft. I mean, or even the night of. So I can see that. I can see that totally happening. But you bring in Keenum for one, because the one thing that Caleb Williams has been able to show you these last 2 years is that durability. He has durability. The guy can stay on the field. He could avoid pressure. He could avoid sacks. Maybe not the first year, right? Because he was the most sacked quarterback. But that had more to do with the offensive line. Hopefully, this new offensive line that we have this year could do just as good as they did last year, where he's not being sacked just as much, but he has that escape ability to be able to avoid that pressure. At the end of the day, though, Case Keenum was – I don't know if you've seen all the clips on social media or you've seen all the clips, right, the Bears will put out or somebody else will put out. Case Keenum was definitely a mentor there for Caleb Williams. He was always in his ear, telling him, hyping him up, cheering him on. He's a good guy to have in that locker room. So bringing him back was smart for the Bears. Not just for Caleb's development. You know what I mean? But in case something does happen, God forbid, to Caleb, I think he'll be serviceable in that offense under Ben Johnson's tutelage. I would rather have Tyson Bagent because of the talent, but if we have to trade him, Case Keenum's a good option.
Trade him. I hear you. By the way, it was 2 years, $5.5 million, but up to $8 million with incentives. That's why I got the $8 million from. Jojo goes on the comments. We're back in the comments here. Definitely need that killer pass rush on B. And it won't matter who we get as a safety or a cornerback. Or the other quarterback won't be able to throw when you have a monster or two chasing him or making miss or fumble. And he said, trade Bagent and get Justin Fields back on this team.
That would be so toxic, bro.
I don't think that's gonna. I don't think that. Yeah, that's no. That's no. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube. Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. Make sure you guys follow us and like us on all our Facebook pages and YouTube page too as well. Share our show on your Facebook page for your friends and families to join us too as well. We welcome everybody. Join us in the comment section, like Jojo, like our boy, my boy Magic, my barber, and CP. The link is also on here, guys, in the comment section if you guys want to join and talk to us too. How you guys generally feel about the Bears and the free agency moves that they had. We're also going to go around the NFL too. There's a lot of big moves around, just the story, to be honest with you, that's been happening within the last 48 to 28 hours too. 48 to 72 hours in the NFL, that's for sure. But we're on the Bears right now. Jose, to me, I'll say it like this. For some reason, when free agency was right around the corner and we made that move for DJ Moore, I looked at the number and it's just kind of like the Bears are very limited to what they had to do, right? And I know that everybody wanted Max Crosby. I wanted Trey Hendrickson, players like that to make, like you said, a big splash on defense. That one name that would help us get over that edge, right? But also at the same time, as I thought about it, I seen all the holes that the Bears had. It's just kind of like the Bears had nothing to work with, salary cap wise, to make that type of move, right? The Bears had to make the moves that they made, 2-3 year deals, very minimal money. Literally just, shopping from Whole Foods and going to Aldi. Like, you just had to alter your food altercations for a little bit simply because we didn't have that cap space. We traded away DJ Moore to get money, but it still wasn't enough to get the players that we wanted. Again, I've always brought up trading Cole Kmet to save a little money here and there, bringing up other these players that had the money that can help us get there. But also at the same time, Jose, it still wasn't enough. And I don't think it will be enough. Even now that Max Crosby is now a free agent, I still don't think no matter what type of moves that we make to get the restructure, where we restructure money, we do this, we do that, that's the only way I could feel like it. But now you're just trying to get out of it's going to be difficult to get out of those contracts in future years. Montez Sweat, Joe Thuney, like you're backtracking these contracts for them to be kind of hard to get rid of at later stages, to where it just doesn't make sense for an organization to do so. Unfortunately, Jose, this is where we are right now. The Chicago Bears, we're good. We do have to trust this coaching staff to just develop these players the best way possible for what players come into as well. I still believe, Jose, that you're right. I don't think Tyson Bagent will probably be the last Bear being traded. I still feel like the Bears have one more trade in them for draft compensation, or maybe just maybe, if he's still available, get that big fish that's out there in defensive end. But yeah, nothing surprised me. I think the Bears' moves this year are like, man, and they also got bit in the ass too from signing Jerry Garrett last year for that amount of money, signing Dial Dangbo for that amount of money last year to handicap them to make these moves that were for these players that were out this year. I mean, Ryan Poles had to do what Ryan Poles had to do to build this team. Sometimes the moves that you make, Jose, they're not the best ones. And those are the ones that are biting the Chicago Bears in the ass right now.
They're not, and it does worry you a little bit, or at least it should, right? Because again,
right,
the whole point of every offseason, especially Eric, when the window is open, this is probably the first year we could honestly say the window is open, and not because of hype, not because of what we project, I guess it is what we project, right? But it's based off results. We made it to the divisional round last year. We won a playoff game. We beat the Packers. We got the monkey off our back. We beat them twice in 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, and once in the playoffs where it mattered, where every year in the past that would never happen, we would be the ones who would always lose. This time it was our year. We had a really good quarterback. We had a really good record. It seems like we have a really good coaches, right? A lot of what Ryan Poles was able to do through the draft, through free agency last year, helped, panned out. It worked. This year, we now have a window that's open, and we got to tell ourselves, are we getting better? And you're right. All these moves were conservative moves that would help the cap, right? It's almost like he's putting bodies in. A lot of these have potential to be better than what they were before, but a lot of these could just be so moves, right? We got to trust Ryan Poles. We got to. Why? Because we love this team. You know, I saw the movie Casino with Robert De Niro for the first time last year. Don't judge me if you think it's crazy. It's for the first time, but hey, I'm 34 years old. I watched the movie for the first time yesterday, and it was really good. The opening line was, when you love someone, you got to trust them. There's no other way. You got to give them the keys to everything you own, Eric. Otherwise, what's the point? We love the Bears. And right now, in charge of the Bears is Ryan Poles. And Ben Johnson is right there with him. If we love them, we got to trust them. Otherwise, what's the point? You got to give them the key to your heart. You got to give them the key to your fandom. That's the only thing we can do. And hopes that they come out and do something for us. You know, and make this team better so we can win a championship finally. That's all we can do. Me personally, it's wait and see. Because, man, our defense was trash. Offensively, I think we're still going to be good. I'm not going to lie. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't worried about this offensive line now that Drew Dalman's gone. But maybe I think they can still be a good offensive line. We just got to wait and see. And defensively, if we don't hit on what Ryan Poles does in the draft, we might be cooked.
Jose, Joey Bosa and Cam Jordan still out there for the Chicago Bears to get if we need a defensive lineman at the very, 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 very end. Those look like those are money-saving signings right there, which is understandable, which what the Bears need. But you're right, the draft is this draft for Brian Poles is probably the biggest draft of his GM career with the Chicago Bears. Now, Jojo goes back on the comments and he says, if we don't get a big name defensive player in free agency, let's draft some studs and develop the future monsters of the middleweight. 100%. And I think that's the route that the Bears are going to go, and the Bears need to go, honestly. And unfortunately for them, that this draft is so rich and so heavy, and with defensive linemen from the interior to the exterior, and even the linebacking core, that the Bears probably found themselves in that situation. I would rather love for them to sign a defensive end and then also draft one to, work the other way around, or, build them up and give them that opportunity just to come in whenever they need a break. I think that would have been a great idea for the Chicago Bears. It's still not over for the Chicago Bears. This is a very weird offseason because the Bears didn't have the most money in salary cap room as they did in prior years, but you're right, Jose. Now the microscope becomes bigger on Brian Poles and the Chicago Bears because of the season that they had last year. Winning 11 games, making it into the playoffs, winning the NFC North, beating the Packers not once but twice, once in the regular season and then once in the playoffs. It's a big step. It's a big mountain that the Bears put themselves into, being on top of the NFC North and just being basically the bread and butter of Chicago sports talk radio. I mean, Jose, we're in November and we're still talking about the Chicago Bears right now and the moves they're making because of what they did to us last year, what we love, how we got back, how we got on this team's back and enjoyed the ride of the Chicago Bears with little to no expectations. Now that I feel, obviously, and everybody should, that because of what happened last season, the expectations are now higher for the Chicago Bears and the pressure's on. Like you said, the window is open. They need to make these moves. And right now the moves, they're meh, but they're meh because of what the Bears are able to do with the money that they had. So are they better? No. Are they worse? Not really. They're probably about the same as they were last year. Now we just need to see this team on the football field just to see if which one comes more in reality, where they're good or they're bad from last year.
Yeah.
Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. Follow us on all our social media platforms. on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, and also on TikTok. Our new time Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Make sure you guys follow us, join us, hit the little bell on both YouTube and on Facebook to get notified when our shows are live, when we go on live for you guys. As always, like and share on both pages too as well. Jose, enough with the Chicago Bears. Not just because we want to, but I mean the bigger story out here, Jose, wasn't the Chicago Bears, obviously, but it was mainly more what the hell the NFL was going on. And at first, Max Crosby was traded to the Baltimore Ravens for 2 first-round picks. And then all of a sudden, today or yesterday, we got the news that the move was called off because the Ravens found something in the medicals from Max Crosby. Instead, they got the next best player available in Trey Hendrickson. And now Trey Hendrickson is now a Raven. Jose, what in the actual hell is going on within the last 24 hours with these two players? Because Hendrickson was still on the streets or was still a free agent for the last 2 days.
Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying because everybody was waiting to see what was going to happen with Hendrickson, and it's almost like he knew. It's almost like he knew because like why the hell did he wait? And then as soon as they caught wind, or they found out, hey, we don't want Crosby, the Ravens, it was it. And all of a sudden, boom, Plan B, Hendrickson. Oh, all of a sudden he's there. Like, what's going on here? It's annoying, but at the same time, give credit to where credit's due. The Ravens needed a pass rusher. They got a pass rusher. They had at one. I mean, credit to them. They got both. They got Max Crosby. Realized, you know what? Not a good move. And then there goes Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah,
that's what the Bears wanted. The Bears wanted one of those guys. The Ravens had both, and it just sucks because we weren't able to get either one. I don't know what's going to go on with Max Crosby right now. From what it seems like, the Raiders say like he's a Raider. Obviously, they're taking calls. I'm sure other teams are looking to try to get him. That price tag definitely went down. I'm pretty sure the Ravens are probably trying to get as much as they can. They're definitely not getting 2 first-round picks. I almost want to look at Ryan Poles and be like, so what are we offering here? Because why not? You know what I mean? I get it. There's something there physically that scared the Ravens. I get it. And I don't know what it is, but I mean, I don't know. If you're the Bears, Eric, do you take that chance? I mean, I almost want to.
Trey Hendrickson signed for the Baltimore Ravens for 4 years, $120 million. So that's the money that he was looking for coming into the free agent. So it was $25, $30 to $40 million a year, right? So he got that deal. Easy, right? I don't know, man. I mean, look, I guess what I can say about this, Jose, is the fact that because of the medicals, you're right. The draft value and the draft compensation fell. And it lowered down just a little bit. It's not the first round picks that they wanted from before it all started. It's not the 2 first rounds or a first and a second and the player. Now that it's out there, that the medicals are out there about Max Crosby, you know, what next? What can you offer, right? Is it a second and a fifth, a second and a fourth, you know, something like that? Like the Bears did the same offer that the Ravens did. Mind you, that report somehow out there was out there that the Bears
I heard about that. Yeah.
The Bears offered 2 first-round picks to the Oakland Raiders, to the Las Vegas Raiders, but they said no because the Ravens' first-round pick this year was more valuable than the Bears because the Ravens were picking 14th and the Bears was picking 20-something in the high 20s. 25th. So that's the only reason why that deal didn't go through. The Bears were willing to do so, right? But now, Jose, it's just like, okay, what can we do? And right now, Tony goes, the Ravens had the balls to give away 2 number ones, and now they gave away all that money, so the Bears are just being cheap on what they need. But you know what, Tony? Like this gives me a different perspective what Jose was saying, and it does, because now the value is cheaper. Now the value is not as high as 2 first-round picks. Because any team right now at this point giving up a first-round pick for Max Crosby just because of the name, it's you give up first-round picks. I think that's just bad business, right? And the Ravens just clarified that for us that, you know what, for Max Crosby, because of his medicals, giving up 2 first-round picks is just ridiculous. It's bad business. Yes, the Bears desperately need it, but now first-round picks are just out of the picture, out of the door. And that's the one thing we have to kind of think the Baltimore Ravens about that. But also the Ravens kind of screwed not just the Chicago Bears, but the entire NFL on what they did trading for Max Crosby, because now they had to make different type of moves. The Raiders spend a hell of a lot of money this past free agency getting Tyler Linderbaum for almost $25-30 million a year as a center from the Baltimore Ravens, and everybody else that they built just for the future simply because they had Max Crosby off the books. But now the same question still applies, Jose. Where the hell do the Bears get the money to get Max Crosby to even think about getting the trade?
Yeah, it's crazy. I think if this would have happened way sooner, we probably still would have traded something to get Max Crosby. But you're right. It's the fact that here we are. It's going to be tough. We can still trade to get Crosby, but we still got to pay him, and that's going to be that's the hard part right there. I don't know what you do. There's smart people in that organization. There's smart people in the world that can answer that question for you. I don't know what the Bears can do to make that feasible for them, but man, do I want it to happen. I'm not scared. I'm not Max Crosby's showing you he could be that guy when healthy. But I also, in a way, do trust the Baltimore Ravens. If you talk about a team that's always been consistently good, and granted, right, they have a new head coach going into the season, a new GM going into the season. I get it. It could totally be the complete opposite, where maybe these guys just didn't know what they were doing. I get it. But more often than not, you go based off the past and history, and the past and history tells you that the Ravens know what they're doing. So
100%.
Something scared them on Max Crosby. So I'm also side-eyeing that a little bit and seeing, okay, I wonder what it was. At the end of the day, I don't know what you can do. I really don't know what you can do. But man, if you can do it, at least try. I mean, I'm all for it. Why not?
Jose, the cap hit for Max Crosby is $29 million for this season.
Shit.
That's the cap hit. Do you want to know how much cap space that the Bears have?
How much?
$6 million.
So you gotta free up 23 just for this year. I mean, yeah, that's tough.
You gotta free up 23 just for this year, and that's tough. That's including again, the only way you can restructure getting money is you restructure the contract of Joe Thuney, you restructure the contract of Montez Sweat, you get whatever you could get off of Caleb Williams, you trade or make Cole Kmet re-sign a whole different new deal to get more money on top of that. Yes, there's ways that you have to become creative. But even all that, dude, even that, I still don't think it's worth giving up the draft compensation and doing all these restructured deals just for one player. And I get the name across it. And I get the name that comes with it. And I get the production that comes with it too as well. I hear that 110%. And you guys can tell me everything that you want. And I'm going to read the comments right now in a little bit. But I still don't think doing all of that is just worth it for one player that, yes, could be a difference maker, but look at everything that you have to do behind the scenes in order for you to get there. You know what I'm saying? Since you have to create $23 million in your salary cap just to get him, just to pay him for this year alone. It's just too much. Jojo goes on here and says exactly, the past 24 hours has been nuts. And then Adam Schefter said that Trey was going to be a Bear, but now who knows? And I think my computer kind of glitched. And I think the meniscus surgery that Max has is what scared the Ravens away. Bears could give maybe next year's first and a second round this year, and maybe one supply of some frozen Giordano's pizza to the clubhouse. I mean, that's not a bad idea, but I think trading away a first round pick is it's not smart business right now, especially what we found out. It really isn't. Tony goes and says the Bears are not getting him. They are waiting until the draft. Let's put that to bed and let's move on. Tony, I want to be with. He said $20. Dude, I'm with you too. Doing all these moves does not make any sense. It would be nice if you're a big fish hunter trying to get the next level, trying to get those players. It would be great. It would be fantastic to have them across the field or across the line from Montez Sweat and have two different type of players at that point. But to make all these moves, to make all these adjustments, to make all this money kind of appear out of nowhere because of this and that, and then the draft compensation on top of that, it's not first-round picks. First-round picks have to stay now. It's not worth it. Jose, it's not worth it, man. I'm sorry, but it's not worth it, man.
No, I hear you. It's just my thing is there's a lot still we need. The Bears still need two more safeties. They do. They still need more safeties. And that's
Another cornerback.
another cornerback. That's outside, and then a pass rush, Like defensively, there's a lot of holes to fill. I get you. I understand it. Max Crosby at least takes care of one position, at least. The thing about these guys that we're going to draft, they have to pan out. And I get it. Why is there so much risk? You either get Max Crosby and risk spending what you spend, and health wise he just isn't it, or you draft. I get it. And life's a risk. You gotta find something or way to get your team to be better. Max Crosby instantly makes that team better. That's the only reason why I'm okay with if they were to get him. I'll be okay with it because he instantly makes that defense better than it was last year, right? And I get it. Health wise, who knows what he can do? But we all know when healthy, he's the man. We all know when healthy, he's a difference maker. You gotta hope that not only the person you draft isn't going to also stay healthy, but is also going to be a difference maker. Good. So at least you can check one of those boxes off with Max Crosby, which is the only reason why I'm okay with
it. Damn it, dude! I hate what I just did to myself right now. Right? I hate what I did to myself right now. Right? So, Isaiah, what's up, my guy? How you feeling? He's like, "What's up, y'all? I hope the Indiana Bears get Max." Yeah, dog. Isaiah, no, bro. It doesn't make any sense, man. I'm sorry, it doesn't. I get it.
For me.
It's out there.
It does for me, Isaiah.
It doesn't. It doesn't make any sense, man. You got to move around a lot of money. But Jose, again, you're gonna hate what I just did. I hate myself for doing this right now, bro. But somehow, some way, if you let go of or you find a trade partner to get rid of or to trade DeAndre Swift, to trade Cole Kmet, and to trade Jalen Johnson. With the $6 million cap hit that you have, that's $30 million guaranteed right there. But you still have to find yourself a corner and then a running back. Because the tight end, I think we're good, right? Tight end, you can get somebody that can do the blocking and also the receiving.
If you get rid of Jalen Johnson, that's another piece you got to find.
That's what I was saying. You got your corner. You got to find another corner.
Two corners.
Running back. I mean,
we lost Nelshawn Wright. I don't know if C.J. Gardner-Johnson's coming back or not. I honestly can't really tell you. But Nelshawn Wright's gone. He's signed. I forgot what team he just signed with. He's no longer.
He went to something about the Jets. Sounds about right.
I think it was the Giants. It was one of the two teams. Maybe it was the Jets. Maybe it was the Jets. Regardless, he went to New York. I know that for a fact. Tough, man. Tough. But that's where we find ourselves. So, look, the bar isn't that high. I mean, our defense was pretty bad last year. So, definitely have the opportunity to just take what we got now and just build to the draft. I'll be a hypocrite if I tell you I don't trust Poles after what he did last year. I mean, I trust him enough. He did what he had to do, and he did a good job bringing us the weapons we needed, like Colston Loveland and Luther Burden and Kyle Monangai. He did really well last year in the draft. So I got to go in with that trust, man. Like I said, if you don't trust, what's the point?
I hear you. Let's go into the comment section real quick, Jose, before we go back to our definitely right money of his contract would be something they really have to restructure. A few contracts maybe even try and negotiate his contract if he wants to be a Bear. But let's see if the studs of the draft, because they can give out, and then we've been in the same situation that we've been big name players and injuries put them on the shelf, and they'd be a big paycheck. Still, it's 50. Tony goes and he says the Bears will never restructure contracts to get a player, so it won't happen. Sorry, my computer's going. Stop drinking so loud. I'm not, man. I'm just being honest. I'm trying to do that. And Nelshawn went to the Jets. And then Isaiah says, who do we replace for DJ Moore? Luther Burden and Roma Dunze. Isaiah, to be honest with you, bro. Isaiah, it was the writing on the wall. I think they already had too many pass catchers. And obviously, he also got replaced by a tight end in Colston Loveland. The Bears are banking on the future with those three young guys, with Rome, with Luther, and with also Colston Loveland. So, fortunately, it made DJ Moore expendable, and maybe they might find somebody in the fourth round as a wide receiver to kind of be that other X factor or the slot receiver for them. who knows? But yeah, and then no Sean Wright did go to the Jets, Jose. So there we go. Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. But yeah, dude, I'm doing the math. The Bears have $6 million, $7 million in cap. So I'm doing the math right now. So where is it at?
Yeah, but
so
automatically,
DeAndre Swift, if we trade him,
I don't know if that works, Eric, because automatically just losing DeAndre Swift hurts us. He had his best career year last year. He was a big part of our offense. I get Kamanunga could be that guy, but Kamanunga is a different type of running back. What DeAndre Swift was able to do, not just running the ball, but even the pass catching ability that he has, that's a loss for offense. We're trying to get better. And I hear you that all that works for Max Crosby, and that does make us better defensively, but we can't. We've already lost DJ Moore on this offense. You want to try to lose DeAndre Swift too? And Cole Kmet, I think, can be. Look, I give all the credit to Cole Kmet. He's done so much for us. Whenever we needed him, he was there. I feel like you could easily kind of replace him. You know what I mean? Tight end wise, you just get another veteran. You know what I mean? No. But what I mean is like Colston Loveland is your tight end one, but Cole Kmet was a good tight end too. You see a lot of teams now use a 2 tight end set or a 2 running back set just because we already have a running back in Kamanunga and a tight end and Colston Loveland doesn't mean we're not going to have to fill that void getting rid of both Cole Kmet and DeAndre Swift. That right there alone is going to also – that's another position you got to fill. I can't sit here and tell you with certainty that Kamanunga is now the number 1 running back. He hasn't shown it. You know what I mean? He was good in the position he was in, but he wasn't getting most of the snaps. That was DeAndre Swift. Manunga came in healthy and fresh most of the time. You know what I mean? He's a good hard-nosed running back. We still need that playmaker that DeAndre Swift was.
All right, Jose, I did a deeper dive about Max Crosby. It's even more impossible now. Even with those trades, it's still not enough because his cap hit is actually $35 million. And the Bears, if we do let go of those players, will only have $29 million in cap space to get him. So, like you said, unless if we do type of restructuring his deal, if we do end up getting him to get that part, to even trading away Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, and Jalen Johnson, you still have to replace for sure one in Jalen Johnson, the running back. I think you could find somebody that's capable enough out there to do his part. You're absolutely right. DeAndre Swift had his best year, but I still do believe like you could probably find somebody a little bit better than that, and probably on the cheaper end. But yeah, so it is a lot of money that the Bears have to give up into saving those salary caps and wherever want to get traded. I mean, at least you'll get draft compensation back if you do decide to trade those players. Like a 4th round pick for Cole Kmet, maybe a 3rd or a 4th round pick for Jalen Johnson, maybe like a 5th or a 6th for DeAndre Swift. Get those off the books, but you're getting draft picks back and picks where, depending on the team where we're at. But yeah, no, it's still a lot of movement just for $29 million, and you still, $5-6 million below the salary cap market to even get Max Crosby on your team. A lot of restructuring to get out there, but that means you restructure that contract. It's going to be harder to get rid of him later on in the future. So again, it's not even worth that. And Tony goes, we have to add and not subtract. Come on, guys. No, 100%, Tony.
I agree, Tony. I agree.
It's a lot.
I'm trying to tell Eric. We got to add. Right now, none of us can sit here and say the Bears got better since last year. None of us. If anything, some people could probably make a case we got worse because of the guys we lost. Kevin Byard was no scrub. The production that he left with is something significant defensively. DJ Moore was no scrub. The production that he left is something we have to add significantly. And of course, I got it. DJ Moore and Kevin Byard, those two guys, you could justify a little bit as to what we can replace them with, 100%. But at the end of the day, has yet to be seen. We haven't seen Luther Burden or Rome Odunze step into that number 1 role. We haven't seen Kobe Bryant on the Bears defense yet, who could have a league leading interception year like Kevin Byard had. We haven't seen it yet. So there could be a case made we're not as great going into next season than we were this past season. All we have is hope.
It's gonna be fun.
All we have is hope.
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Again, I'm not saying I'll sleep easier, if we do find somehow, some way to trade for Max Crosby, I don't think I'll sleep a lot more easier, Jose. But again, as long as it's not first round picks, I think the first round pick conversation for Max Crosby is out the door. And now the Raiders have to find a way to just, move money around to keep him, or just trade for what they can get at this point. I mean, like I said, I never wanted Max Crosby in the first place. I don't. I was the first one to say out there. Everybody else, you guys and everybody else saying, "Come bring in Max Crosby to the Chicago Bears." It never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me, and I don't think it ever makes sense to me at that point, right? Trey Hendrickson was the one that made more sense to me, but the money that he was asking for the Bears, that was just enough in the Bears salary cap, and that was it. That was going to be the only move for the Chicago Bears with all the holes that they need to fix. And the Bears still need a lot of holes to fix. I mean, luckily enough that the Bears are picking 25, 57, and 60 the first, in the first two rounds, and they have another one in the 70-some odd pick in the third round, right? Maybe there's more moves to be had. Hell, maybe, like I said, maybe they will trade away these players to save that salary cap. We might have some noise. But at the end of the day, right now, Jose, it is what it is. The Chicago Bears are the Chicago Bears right now with the signings that they made. Ryan Poles did the best that he could with the money that he had, and we only had $6 million in cap space to even just make other moves, right? Maybe a Joey Bosa right before camp starts for $2 million, $4 million, and still have enough money, depending what we need to sign for our draftees, for the players that we draft, because they also need to get paid under the salary cap too as well. So, I mean, look, sometimes making bad deals like the Dambo and the Garrett and the Grady Jarrett deals can hurt us at the long end, Jose. And this is where we're at right now. But you know what? And Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson, this coaching staff we trust. Ryan Poles, I think, has to bet literally almost close to 1,000 this draft to just justify every wrong that he did in his signings the past couple of years. But he literally has to bet 1,000 this draft season because the Bears' expectations skyrocketed, Jose, from all of us, not for, from all of us.
If there's a sign of hope, if there's a sign that tells you can trust him, it's what he was able to do last year, right? A lot of people criticize him for taking Coastal Loveland over Tyler Warren. I think everybody now knows that was the best choice. He did really good there. A lot of people didn't know nothing about Kyle Monangai. He got him in the 7th round, and look at Kyle Monangai now. Great player for us. Yeah. Luther Bird in the 3rd could definitely be a star on this team. Ryan Post signed him, right? Yeah. Ja'Day Walker was good, was a good pickup as well. Look at the guys that they brought in, whether it was Noshawn Rice, GCJ Gardner-Johnson, right? They were able to Phil Hose was able to bring people in and help us out. The offensive line that he put together last year was great.
100%.
So yeah, there's a lot that he did well and a lot to build off of. So that's a good thing. It's just we can't win them all. We can't win every offseason. I feel like the Bears have won every single offseason since he's got in offense. We can't win them all. This year was more about let's just, put some bodies in the field. Like I said, there's some good players. We got some good players. So there's definitely potential, right? There's definitely potential. Well, there's good potential and there's bad potential, right? So let's see. Let's see what we look like next year.
No, for sure. Sorry, I'm scratching my. Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys, live. Make sure you guys like and subscribe on our YouTube page, like and share on your Facebook page for your friends and family too as well. We appreciate you guys hopping on. Jose, Jojo, Isaiah, everybody, my boy Magic, my barber, CP earlier in the comments too. Thank you very much for joining us. Like and follow us on all our social media platforms out there too as well. But yeah, this has been a very interesting free agency for sure, Jose, within the last 48 hours, and I mean probably the last 5 days too as well with all the moves. Jose, I think we will get some good players in the draft. No, Max, no, 100%. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, look, at this point, I think my mind is open. I'm not open to anything, but I won't be surprised if something like that happens, right? I would definitely not be surprised if the Bears find a way to still make this work, and all of us would be like, well, fuck it. We got Max Crosby. Yeah, we will all be excited at the end of the day if somehow, some way the Bears pull that shit off and get Max Crosby for the Chicago Bears. None of us will complain, right? Well, be like, oh, okay, we had to do this, we had to sacrifice this, that, but we got Max Crosby. We had somebody that can actually go and rush the quarterback. But at the same time, it's not a good business move, Jose, and everybody out there for me. So, yeah. All right, Jose. Now we are 92 days away from the World Cup, Jose, and as you can see, my ball is different. Not really, but it's a little bit different. So what I'm doing, I have all the collection of the Adidas 15 soccer balls from 1970 on to this past World Cup, guys, ladies and gentlemen. So last week I did the 1970 Mexico one right there in the front, if you can see it. This one, it looks the same, but the lettering is a little bit different. This is actually 1974 World Cup in Germany, where the host nation and the third time a host nation has won the World Cup, and they're respectively. England did it in '66. Uruguay did it in the first edition in 1930. But that one, Germany won 2-1 against the Netherlands that year. It was actually West Germany at that point. And yeah, that was the first time that was the last time Mexico did not qualify for a World Cup during the region. So yeah, this one was a very interesting one. Actually, this World Cup in Germany, Jose, if you didn't know, Spain was actually supposed to be the host of it, but they actually ended up giving it to Germany for political reasons. They ended up hosting it a little later on in the future. Which we'll get into right there and later on. But yes, they ended up giving up 1974 to Germany. And yeah, supposedly, Jose, that Tony was actually in the front row in one of that World Cup games, man. That's how old Tony is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Germany won the World Cup in 1974. Again, the third host country to win their championship in their respective country. And the dominance of Europe was still in that presence at that time, because I want to say that was the fourth time in 5 tournaments in that edition that Europe has won the World Cup. So that was that. So the champions were Germany, obviously Netherlands at that point were the runner-ups. Poland was in third, and Brazil came in fourth in that tournament. So that was that. This year's ball, the Telstar 1974 Telstar Duralast was this ball up here. So that's the history and the World Cup. Obviously, every week a different ball. Every week will be a different story with the winners and the backstory to it. So,
yep. And I hear what you have. What I have here is the Fantasy Football Championship I got from John's League. Shout out to John. Shout out to everybody that was in it that I beat. First place champion. I want to show something off myself. Who did I beat in the first round, Eric? Do you remember? You. That's right.
Windy City Rundown here on Facebook and on YouTube, guys. I appreciate you guys for joining us and watching our show. Next time we will finish this on something more relevant than anything. We will be talking about whatever happens from here on out in the fantasy football, in NFL football, right? We get back to the baseball, the Bulls basketball. It's been atrocious. I don't think we ever talked about that too as well. But yeah, we will get a lot more into next week. See what moves are going to be made. Just see if Max Crosby's a Bears, a Raider. But we'll definitely be talking about. We have a list of players that we want on our team for the NFL draft. We're actually doing our scouting reports for our Chicago Bears for the defensive line. So be on the lookout for that. We appreciate everybody joining us. JoJo, Tony, my boy Magic, CP, everybody liking, sharing. Isaiah, thank you very much. As always, like and share on your Facebook page. Like and subscribe on our YouTube page. We're live on both platforms every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And as always, this is the Windy City Rundown. Jose, thank you very much for showing up. I appreciate you. We will see you guys next week. We might even talk about a little Champions League soccer because it's the round of 16. You're showing up. It's gonna be good. We'll see which one of our both teams advance for next week too as well. The little soccer that we can talk about next week. So be on the lookout for that. For Jose Contreras, I am Eric Avila. This is the Windy City Rundown. As always, Jose, hit that outro.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
He's running like he's got a lobster down his pants, showing that he is as slippery as a bar of soap.
Like poop through a diarrhea-infected goose.
Commented about it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take this serious.
I'm not.
Real serious. I put my heart and soul into this every single week.
Are we done here?
It's about